Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Today, we're going to talk about getting uncomfortable. Now, I know I've mentioned this before in a different episode, I'm sure, because it's a big part of life, in my opinion. And also, every time you step out of your comfort zone, you learn something, and that includes myself. So I found myself, getting out of my comfort zone, and I want to share with you and just encourage you today to maybe try something different. And in fact, actually, this last time I stepped out of my comfort zone, or recently, I didn't even know I was doing it. I kind of didn't even think about it. So let me explain. My oldest, who's almost 10 years old, they love to sing. And they sing around the house, they sing all over the place, and a place in town does karaoke once a month. And I was like, you know what? Maybe, you want to try that. And then, I just kind of put it out there, and they're like, yeah. And then we actually were with a friend, and they're like, yeah, we'll do it too. And it just kind of came about. And I didn't really think about the rest of it, meaning like getting up there, because I said to my child that I would go up there and sing with them if they wanted to, that I love karaoke, and I do. However, has been over like 15 years, I think, since I actually karaoke'd. So a lot has happened in my life since then. So it was a very interesting thing. Anyways, but I didn't really think about it. What I was thinking about was my child has this dream, this passion. What can I do to help? Now, a lot of the time we can do that for other people, right? But we don't do that for ourselves. Anyways, life lessons here all over the place. So we said it, and then all of a sudden the date comes, and we're like, oh my goodness, my friend messages me and is like, are we doing it? I'm like, I know they want to do it, so let's just make it happen. I was a little nervous, not gonna lie, because I thought about like, oh, now I do need to actually get up there in front of people. So the day of, or even the day before, I'm mentioning to them that if we can go, and if they don't feel comfortable getting up at that time, that's okay. There's no pressure. It's totally cool that we just show up, see how it is. There's no expectations. I wanted to make sure that they knew on my side of things that it was okay. Now, a part of me was probably like, oh yeah, then I don't have to get in front of people. But really, I was putting all my energy on making sure that they felt comfortable, that they knew that I had no expectations of them getting up just because we go to karaoke. And I wanted them to be free to be themselves and just to work through all the feelings that can happen when you do something new. So we're there, and we had we practiced a couple days beforehand because, you want to feel the songs. And we had a list of songs that we wanted to sing. And anyway, so we get in there, and things were a little nervous, and I know they were feeling really nervous to the point where they didn't really want to eat anything and things like that because they weren't sure. We were sitting at the back of the room. It was like our table. So we were in the back of the room, and they're like, I don't know if there's a screen. Is it big, small? And they were just a little nervous. Anyway, fast forward to the guy, because he came around the table, the host of karaoke, and we're like, yeah, we're going to do it. I was like, it's been a long time for me, and it's their first time. Things like that. Anyways, he gave a shout out to our table because it's a small town. So it's, anyways, it was fun. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get up there. And we sang Call Me Maybe. And we had a blast. The whole room was clapping, and it was a feel good moment. Then we sit down, and they devoured a whole dessert because they're like, yay, my nerves are gone. They felt really good. And then of course we got up there again. And they would have kept going, but I was feeling a little tired. Anyways, it was a fun time. Now, if we would have let our nerves get the better of us, we wouldn't have got up there. We wouldn't have had that fun. Now, we still could have had fun listening and watching other people karaoke. Yes, we did that. But it felt like the feeling you have when you move through that fear and you do it anyway. I got to feel that myself. But the really magical part of that evening was I got to see my kid do the same thing. The their face, their energy, just it was like huge. And since that day, they also stood up and did a skit in front of over 100 people in Cubs. They got on the PA system and made an announcement at school. My kid is super shy, or was, and they're opening up because I chose to step out of my comfort zone. Now, I kind of did it without thinking about it, but I did it anyways. Now, let's go back to that moment though, right? Because I did do it for my kid. I did. And we can do that a lot too, right? We can do things that we wouldn't normally do for ourselves, for others. And that is cool, but it's always making sure that you do something for yourself too. Now, this was awesome because I love karaoke. So I was just so excited to finally get up there and sing again. I'm not going to lie though, I was shaking. It was happening because it's been a while. Anyway, so we can do things for others a lot easier than we do for ourselves. So if that's where you're at and you're like, yeah, I could do something, then maybe that's how you step out of your comfort zone. But then in the end of it, you need to remember that it's about you too. And at any time you step out of your comfort zone, you're growing. And like we got to experience it with friends and, we all had a really beautiful time. Now I shared with my child, what they did after they stepped out of this comfort zone, like things just got easier. Well, I also just took that energy from stepping in front of a group of people and did something for myself as well. I just signed up for a 4-week course that's going to take me outside of the house. So I'm going to be away from my kiddos for 4 weeks. And I'll be coming home for weekends, which is great. But for those weeks, like I'll be gone. It's going to be like 4 intense weeks of awesome as I go deeper in my yoga teaching practice and my yoga practice in general. So I'm going to be working along a really beautiful yoga teacher and just be in this beautiful space and just to get even deeper. So, but like for me, there's a lot that I'm nervous about. But you want to know a little trick about stepping out of your comfort zone? And it's one of the things that happened when I did karaoke with my kid is I didn't overthink it. I said, yeah, let's do it. Now, did I get a little nervous near the day of? I'm like, yeah. But even when we got there, when we got to the restaurant, I didn't think too much else about it. I was like, well, whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm here now. I get up there. Like, I wasn't trying to overreact too much about, like, you can play scenarios in your head, right? Like we tend to tell ourselves stories. Like, what if this happens? Or what if this happens? Or it's the fear of the unknown. And it can get us stuck. So not overthinking it, just like signing up and going. Same with my yoga teacher training. I've been doing a course online and I'm pretty much done. But like, anyways, I would like some hands-on, some really deep, awesome learning. And this just felt so good. But if I think about all the stuff that I'm going to have to overcome, like going in front of people and learning in a different way than I'm used to. And anyways, I love hands-on learning though, so I'm super excited. But if I overthink about what I have to do in those 4 weeks, I would have talked myself out of it. So what I try to do is not overthink things. I try to listen to my heart. It can be hard sometimes when the world's chatting around you, but like slowing down. And usually when I know something's right, like I feel it in my core. So that's all I need to feel is that feeling of knowing that this is what I'm meant to do. Because honestly, I stumbled upon this course last year. They were advertising it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. And then I just didn't feel great. My energy was going downhill and I had brain fog and things later on. So that excitement kind of faded. And then I'm like, well, it's probably too late to sign up, for one. And also I'm like, oh, my energy is just not great. So how am I going to show up and be my best self to do this course? And then it just showed up in my email again, like in my inbox. And I was like, this is telling me that, yeah, I got to do this. And funny thing is, once I signed up and stuff, my energy kind of just came back. Now, I've been working on it myself to heal my body, but it's just that excitement underneath is also helping push my energy back in the right direction. So it's pretty cool when we have, when we take steps towards the things that make us happy. And I've shared this so much before, but yoga has changed my life in so many big, beautiful ways. And that's why teaching yoga is so important to me. My goal is to teach people that are nervous about doing yoga or want to do yoga but are afraid. And so I'm going to start with newcomers, and because it doesn't have to be scary. And then once they figure out that, hey, this is fun and it's really amazing, then, they can enter the world of yoga and create their own practice. So anyways, that's a whole different ballgame, but it's amazing what happens when you step out of your comfort zone. So remember, don't overthink it, and you can start small. It doesn't have to be this major thing. You don't have to jump out of a plane or jump off a bridge like bungee jumping or anything like that. You can start small. Maybe it's signing up for a course like I did. Now, it doesn't have to be, but you know what I mean? You can start small. To some people, karaoke might have been no big deal, but to me, that was a huge deal. And even going to yoga teacher training, because I'm leaving my kiddos and my husband, and it's a big commitment. I'm stepping away from my business for a whole month. So it's things like that is okay, but you can start small. Doesn't have to be major. It could be, taking a different way home from work. It can be simple. And I say simple, but you might be like, no, that's going a different routes crazy. And maybe it is. I don't know. But just changing your own routines and getting a little uncomfortable. Because sometimes we can get so comfortable in our routines that you're on autopilot. So even just switching something up, going for a walk in a different, forest, or, checking in a different restaurant, doing something a little different, maybe checking out a different dance, do a dance class or something like that. And just changing it up and getting a little uncomfortable and see what happens. Because honestly, it's very magical. And like I said, I am so grateful that I pushed through my own fear, because then I also got to see my child do the same. And it's so beautiful. I got to see it from the other side. So I felt it, and then I saw it too. It was just beautiful. And my kids look identically like me. So it's just it was looking like I'm looking at myself in the mirror at the same time. It was pretty powerful moment there. And yeah. So go do something different today if you can. And if not, make a commitment to do it very soon. And just see how you feel. It might be a little scary at the beginning, a little messy in the middle, and then it's beautiful, just insanely beautiful once you move through it, move through that fear, get a little uncomfortable. So go get a little uncomfortable, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful for you. And yes, just thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.